Hey everybody, it's Q here with Project Nerd, bringing yet another amazing interview. This time we are sitting down with director Jacob Ewing. Ewing, correct?
Yes, Ewing.
Just wanted to make sure it wasn't some like sometimes the simplest names will throw you, you know?
Yeah, it's actually pronounced Snyder.
And
Yeah,
oh, okay. My
yeah,
bad. The Ewing is silent.
yeah. The
It's
Ewing is
just
silent.
perfect. And he is the director of Nightmare, a short film that was accepted at the Dickens Horror Film Fest. You can check it out online digitally for the Digital Film Festival, October 17th. I'm so excited to talk about this.
Yeah,
You were gracious enough to send me a link to the film itself. I checked it out before the interview. So let's dive into it.
yeah.
What is going on in your head, my man? Like what's rattling around in there that gives you ideas like this?
It's not pleasant in there. There's a lot of filmmakers, especially horror filmmakers, that they'll talk about how like they live pretty normal lives. They're not even really thinking about horror that much, and they either pretty well adjusted. I've realized that like in my head, I'm constantly having like nightmares, like
Sure.
when I sleep, like pretty much every night. If I get up in the middle of the night, I have like a spooky thought or like something kind of happens. I think my apartment, my wife and I's apartment, might be haunted a little bit. Who knows?
Whoa,
You
I
know,
love it. All right.
yeah. Or maybe I just willed it into being haunted because like I'm constantly thinking of spooky stuff or watching horror
You
movies.
drew the spirits to you.
Yeah, they're like, this guy gets it. This guy gets it.
Let's go haunt him.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much, it was just, this short film in particular was literally I had a nightmare and I woke up and I was really freaked out and I was like, you know what, that's good content though. And so
Let's do it.
I have a notebook on my phone where I always write ideas
Sure.
if I have them so I don't forget. And so I just literally wrote what I remembered of the nightmare I had because I thought, hey, that's really scary. And so a lot of what you see in the short film that hopefully all of you guys will get to check out as well,
Yeah.
literally happened to me in a dream. So
That's wild.
yeah. So that's kind of where it originated, and ever since it's been kind of like I said, you know, I don't get stressed out by having nightmares or like having spooky thoughts or feeling like something's wrong. I like I said, I kind of take that as an opportunity to write it down. Like that's a great idea. Like
Sure. So
yeah,
some people keep like dream diaries and you keep like
yeah,
a nightmare log.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Got it.
as
I love
horrifying as
that.
that is. Yeah, yeah,
I
that's a great way
absolutely
of putting it. I'm gonna retitle it my nightmare log because that's what it is. It's very rarely is it like something like pleasant or like soul transcending. It's literally just horrific imagery that like terrifies me into waking up. And I'm like, right, let's keep that. So
Now, I have to ask, so now seeing the film and knowing that the inspiration is literally directly from inside your head,
right.
what was the challenge like? Because I did notice that you definitely accomplished that kind of off-kilter nightmare feel.
Right.
What was the challenge of, because I know sometimes my dreams and nightmares are like just nonsensical. What did you do from a filmmaker standpoint to try to achieve that same feeling?
Right. So make it like grounded in reality, but yet like we still wanted to elicit the feeling of you're having a nightmare.
Sure.
That was the primary goal. I'm a huge fan of horror movies, and I've always wanted to kind of tackle that genre. And so I was like, well, when we're going into this, we got to have two goals here. One is just to be scary.
Right.
We're not trying to have social commentary or have compelling. We just want something that's going to be scary, and we want you to feel like you're having a nightmare while watching it. And so one of the ways I went about it was when you're having a nightmare, you don't cut. Life is not a movie. It feels like a real experience. So when you watch the film, for the majority of the film, there's no seeable cuts. We shot
Right.
it to make it look and feel like it was one long take, because I didn't want. I normally, I'm not. I like a one long take, as much as the next guy, but
Sure.
sometimes it can be overdone and it can be kind of without meaning. With this, I wanted to have one take because that forced the audience to stay attentive to what I'm presenting them.
Agreed.
A cut can be a release in a way, because if you cut, then you can go, oh, okay, good, like the tension's broken. So by
Right.
making it feel like one long take for the most part, it allowed us to build that tension and just like keep it building and building and building. And I didn't want it to be like a fun house of like wacky horror stuff that just keeps happening. I wanted it to feel like I described with myself, like when you get up in the middle of the night and you think, wait, is there something behind me? Or like maybe you see a shadow and that shadow just seems a little bit off. I wanted to kind of pepper in that imagery until we start
Sure.
getting escalated and keep it ratcheting up the tension until I'm ready to say, all right, now we can release and now we can, you know, unleash all the scary stuff. But at this point, you've been built up in tension. So anything that I'm going to be presenting you as a filmmaker, now you're going to buy because we've kept it so simple and just building up that tension until
Sure.
that point.
Yep. I like that. I think that is an absolutely appropriate use of a single take
Yeah,
technique. Because I did get that feeling watching the
right.
film. You do stay in the moment, if you will. It doesn't. You don't have a cut to kind of pull you out, or at least a noticeable cut to pull you out.
Yeah,
Which I
yeah.
very
That was definitely the goal. Is like I said, I didn't want the audience. We were taking the audience for a ride. The short's only 5 minutes.
sure.
I didn't want it to be longer than it needed to be. And for that 5 minutes, I wanted the audience to be only seeing and feeling exactly what I wanted them to see and feel.
Sure. I
And
love
so
that.
that was kind of the goal. Yeah.
I love that. So I do want to ask, because obviously everybody who's watching this interview right now knows that we are virtually interviewing. Uh,
We're not across from each other right
I
now.
know.
Yeah.
Surprise, plot twist. Uh, I do want to ask, what is that experience like, knowing that A, congratulations, your film was accepted to this film
Yes.
festival,
Thank you.
but B, you won't get to be there on the ground with the audience as they experience it. What what does that feel like for you as a filmmaker?
So it's definitely a bummer in a lot of ways. So I had been looking forward to hopefully getting accepted into the Dickens Horror Film Festival prior, mostly because I have family that lives nearby to where the
Sure.
event's going to be hosted. So I had kind of hoped, hey, we'll get in. I get to go visit family. We'll get to go see this live. It'll be a really fun trip. So that's kind of a bummer. And I when we have Nightmare has played at other places prior to this
Sure.
before the pandemic, and I will say the single greatest part of it, this whole experience, has been watching it on a big screen with a crowd of people, and you just hear them like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, or like you hear the
Sure.
tension building, and for me that has been the single greatest part of this whole journey. So it is disappointing for sure that virtually now we won't be able to have that communal experience,
Right.
and I think that's the best part of horror because it's not just my short film. I'm sure all of the accepted projects, horror shorts are going to be the best way to experience that is with a bunch of other horror film lovers together. However, I think what we're seeing, obviously nobody could have predicted that COVID was
Sure.
going to happen the way it is. So what I have seen is, despite the fact that we're not going to be having the communal experience that cinema lovers crave, I think I'm just in awe of how these festival programmers have been able to pivot in such a great way to online. Now it's definitely not the same, but these are other people who love movies. They love watching movies with people, and they're going to try and give us the best experience we can from home. And so I'm really truly, not just saying this because I was accepted, but
Sure.
yeah, I mean it doesn't hurt, but no, but like I'm truly impressed with what I've seen filmmakers and from film festival programmers in terms of pivoting to virtual and online.
Sure.
I think we're doing the best we can, and it's still going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to get connected with great people. Like obviously, you and I did not know each other before this, but now
Sure.
we
Now we're
already
best friends.
we're best friends.
We're planning
I'm,
cookouts once the pandemic's over.
yeah, I'm moving in like a week, and
Yeah, definitely.
but yeah, I think we're still getting to have those experiences, just not in person. And as much of a bummer as that is, I think we're still succeeding in what we want to do.
I would agree with that. Now, from a filmmaker standpoint, now that you've got this film done and it's showing, do you have something that's kind of next on the radar for you?
Yeah, I've been keeping busy in quarantine.
Good. I was about to say, I've talked to several filmmakers, and I keep hearing this resounding create or die. Like you got to you have to keep doing things.
With
Is
COVID,
it something you want?
it could be create or die.
Exactly. Is it something you want to talk about, or is this something?
I can tease stuff. Like there's some stuff I can talk a little bit more about than others, but so the response to Nightmare has been really great in that a lot of people seem to really dig it, and that has kind of afforded me the opportunities to work with producers and people within the industry that I normally didn't have connections to.
Sure.
And so we've been developing a few things. I do have another horror short. I have 2 horror shorts. I'm staying in the horror business for now.
I dig that. Okay.
I'm sticking
I'm
with
a horror
it.
fan.
Yeah. So I'm like, stick with what you know, Jake, at least for now. But yeah, so I got 2 horror shorts in development. I can't really talk about one of them. The other is part of the Stephen King Dollar Baby program. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
You're talking to a dyed-in-the-wool Stephen King fan here,
Yes.
so absolutely.
I'm a huge Stephen King fan. I realized, I had forgotten about the Dollar Baby. For those of you who don't know, who are watching, the Dollar Baby program for any aspiring filmmaker is a program Stephen King has where you can send him $1 and he'll let you adapt one of his unlicensed short stories, basically. Anyone that doesn't have like a feature or TV deal, you can adapt legally for $1. So we are working on that. We're adapting his short story, The Man Who Loved Flowers.
Awesome.
Which is, for anyone who's not familiar with it, check it out. It's very short, very simple, very fun. So we're working on that. That'll hopefully be my next thing in the next month. We're planning on shooting that. And then I wrote a feature film.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big effort.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It was my first attempt at feature. I've only kind of stuck with shorts previously, but it's my take on the slasher genre. We'll kind of say that it's definitely what I would feel is appropriate for a modern slasher. I was kind of thinking to myself during quarantine, because I do love the slasher genre, but you have the hierarchy of like, you have the pothead, the jock, the sexually active woman.
Sure.
Those are the sins.
Your
of
tropey characters.
Yeah, those are the slasher movie sins. And so I said to myself, well, that was the case for like the 70s and onward, because those were the fears of that that generation and like what was deemed wrong. So I kind of thought to myself, I'm like, well, all right, well, what would the new tropes be?
Oh, interesting.
What would what? And it's because it's no longer the pothead, the sexually active young woman, the jock. Those aren't necessarily the same tropes that would be fitting for a modern slasher. So I wanted to kind of take that idea of exploring what that would look like in a really fun and the best way I could describe it is if like Scream and Knives Out had a baby. That's kind of where we're at.
All right, I'm interested. That is a solid like a elevator pitch log line. Right. Just like if Scream and Knives Out had a baby, this is it.
Yeah, would you watch that? Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what we're working on right now. So
That's exciting. So I know you just said that, hopefully you're hoping to start shooting the one in about a month or so.
Yeah.
How are you looking forward to doing this? Like, obviously the landscape of shooting things has changed dramatically. Is that something that you're taking into consideration, or are you like, look, we're down and dirty, we're just doing
like,
it,
we're just gonna
it's
live or
happening?
die? Yeah.
Right.
No, nothing like that. I actually have taken this COVID very seriously. We have I have family members who have compromised immune systems, so
Sure.
I mostly, for the past 6 months, my wife and I have, if we're not at home, I'm at work, and if I'm not at work,
Sure.
I'm at home. We
Sure.
take it very seriously, and I wanted to extend that to any projects we were going to be working on during this time period. And so, what was I going to say? So basically, I wanted to be aware of that, and I didn't want to just go into a project without any sort of thinking about it beforehand, and I wanted to treat it as seriously as I could. And I wasn't even sure if I wanted to film something right now with
Sure.
everything going on. So pretty much what it's going to look like in terms of a shoot schedule is it, because it's going to be a 2-day shoot. We're separating that 2-day shoot by about a week to kind of give us a little bit of time to make sure that nobody is feeling sick or
Sure.
anything's going wrong in the time
Sure.
since we've shot. And one of the ways I'm doing it is I'm keeping the cast and crew to a minimum. When I was adapting the Stephen King story, I was definitely keeping in mind, like, keeping the characters to a minimum, making, adapting it in a way that worked for, what we can realistically film during COVID. A lot of stores are shut down. So adapting it in a way where we could kind of control the environment, control how many people were involved, and we're going to be limiting, who's allowed on set, how many people are allowed on set. We're going to be taking all the precautions in terms of temperature checks, gloves and mask. If you're not on screen, you're wearing gloves and mask.
Got it.
We're going to be doing switches. The way we scheduled the actors is going to be, we only have the actors that we need when we're shooting. No one's going to be standing around. It's actually going to be probably more efficient than your average production, to be honest. Yeah, because it saves everyone a lot of time and heartache, because now we know, all right, well, from this period to this period, we have these actors, we're going to get it done. And then once we reach the the second period, those actors are going to leave, and we're going to have the actors we need come in, and so that way we keep it small, keep it contained, and just kind of look out for each other, have some common sense. That's pretty much the take we're having on it right now.
I like that. I think that sounds very responsible. It sounds resourceful to the material. You're taking the correct adaptation kind of course to figure out how to make that story work within the confines of the situation. So that's exciting. And if this short Nightmare was anything to kind of set a precedence for what your next few projects may look like, or maybe in the vein of, then I personally am very excited. And
thank you.
Absolutely. And as you finish these projects, you have my email address. Definitely reach out to me. Let me know. I would love to have you back. If not on an interview for Project Nerd, maybe we can bring you on the High Five the podcast, and we can talk horror stuff.
I don't know if you got the vibe already from me, but I'm definitely a chatterbox. I could talk forever. So
I dig it. Same. Back when we first started recording the show, we had like 3.5-hour recordings that we had to like whittle down to like a tight hour 15.
Yeah.
Because no one will listen to a 3.5-hour podcast of two people they do not know.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me now. I'm excited for everybody to check out Nightmare at the Dickens Horror Film Festival, October 17th. It's all digital film fest. So go to, I believe it's coloradofests.com, and you can find the link to the Dickens Film Fest part of the series. Again, Jacob Ewing, appreciate you being here, talking to us about your film. And I definitely want to one day maybe we can be tight enough that you let me take a peek into your nightmare log, because it sounds like a very
Yes,
sounds like a
good.
very interesting
Yeah, and then
place.
you'll never talk to me again. It'll be that.
Be like, this guy is sick.
This guy
This
is a
is
psychopath.
disturbed.
Yeah, or like these aren't scary at all. What the heck? Yeah.
Well, good luck with your shoot coming up.
Thank you.
Great job on this film. Everybody check it out. And Jacob, do you have anywhere that you would like to plug, places that people can come find you?
Yeah. If you guys want to find me, be a part of my online experience, I'm Jacob Ewing Presents on Instagram and YouTube. You can find me there. That's going to be the best way to find me. I'd say that's going to be your best
one.
Jacob Ewing Presents.
Cool. Everybody go check it out. And Jacob, we'll be talking to you again soon in the future, I have no doubt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I look forward to it.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in to another Project Nerd interview. Go check out Dickens Horror Film Festival, October 17th, online. Watch Nightmare, have nightmares. We'll see you guys later.
Support the arts. Woo!